Okay, I started recording. All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm Isaiah. This is my friend Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about fantasy football players we love and hate for this next upcoming season.
Yep.
Yeah, simple as that. Let's get into it. Starting off with a player that we're going to start with the loves, and then we're going to get to the hate. Is Garrett Wilson in the second round? And there's a lot to like about him. With him getting Aaron Rodgers, a major upgrade from Zach Wilson. He already had 1,000 yards last season, so there's no reason to think this guy can't go for 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I might be a little bit biased, being an Ohio State fan and everything, but I really do think I really liked what I saw out of Garrett Wilson last year. And keep in mind, that's with a terrible quarterback and a bad offense. So, I mean, you put him in a situation where you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball, and, it's going to turn him into a lead option.
Yep. Right. So moving on, that one was pretty simple. Is this one is more from me? It's Jameer Gibbs, the Lions' recent first round pick. I wasn't a huge fan of the pick when it happened because I think at 12 was a bit each. But in terms of fantasy, the Lions use their running backs a lot in both pass and run, and you can get them like the fourth round right now. So there's a lot to like. Plus, with Jamison Williams being suspended for the first 6 games, that's going to open up more opportunities for him to get the ball in his hand.
Yeah. And DeAndre Swift is gone.
Yep. They're definitely looking to lean towards him. They made it very clear that they thought that they got a steal at him at 12.
Yeah. It's good to have faith in running back. It means a lot for fantasy.
Yeah,
They wouldn't draft him at 12 tonight, use him as a workhorse running back.
all right. Up next is one that you said. It was Christian Kirk, who we actually said last year. I know we don't have any proof of it. Was going to be a good fantasy option. He obviously was, but I feel like he's going to have more competition this year. Calvin Ridley's coming into that system. There's yeah, that's about it. But I think Calvin Ridley will take over the receiver one position in that offense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm repping the Jaguars hat here, but so yeah, I mean, honestly, I really liked what I saw out of Christian Kirk last year, and I know what your point with them bringing Calvin Ridley. I mean, this is a Calvin Ridley that hasn't been in the league for a few years playing, so they're not. He's not going to jump in and get these crazy 20 plus targets a game. He's going to come in and it's going to be slow. I'm thinking more like Julio Jones in the Bucks offense type of role that he's going to have.
He was on the Bucks to be honest.
Yeah, so I don't see him coming in and really affecting more. I think honestly we're just gonna have to look at like Zay Jones, see how he does. But no, I really like Christian Kirk. I feel like he is definitely the clear wide receiver one in this offense, and a Jaguars team that's looking to make a heavy playoff push. I feel like their offense is going to be just as good as it was last year, and Trevor Lawrence is going to take a big step up, and it's going to make Christian Kirk look really good.
I do like the direction the Jags are going, and I think even if like neither one of them established a true wide receiver one, a 1-2 punch of Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk would be massive, and will give defenses a lot of trouble. That's
Yeah, I'm interested to see, the how much they're going to be using the run game this year.
right. Up next, we got your waiver wire steal of last year, Michael Pittman. I don't know how I feel about that. You're bringing in Anthony Richardson, who is a project quarterback. We don't even know if this guy is that good at quarterback. So he's much more of a, like I expect the Colts to have a really good running offense, but in terms of passing, I don't know what to expect out of that offense. Michael Pittman will obviously be the wide receiver one, so he'll definitely get that volume. But I'm thinking this team probably get the bottom of like the amount of times they run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you do mention up the fact that they're bringing in this rookie quarterback who hasn't really seen any plays. But come on, do you not remember like who we had last year with this Colts offense? Like
Where did he
it
finish
can't be
last
worse.
year? Where did he finish
It
last
can't.
year?
What's up?
Like where did he finish? Like roughly, I don't know. I don't think you have the exact.
Oh, I don't know, but their quarterback like option, they had Nick Foles. Like it
I
can't
get
get
that.
worse than
I
that.
get that last year was pretty unserious for them at quarterback, but you're obviously getting Jonathan Taylor back, who is battling injury. He's definitely going to be a key player in that offense. And I think Anthony Richardson, they're going to rely. They got the Eagles off according to be their head coach. They're going to rely a lot on that QB run option type offense that the Eagles ran.
I think Jonathan Taylor honestly being back is going to help Pittman because, last year Pittman was the clear wide receiver one. He got a ton of targets every game. It was just quarterback could not place the ball in there. And also, he was being, double team, triple team because they have no options on the offense. So, they're
And
pressing
who
him
do they
hard.
have now, though? They lost Paris Campbell, who was like their wide receiver. Oh,
Yeah, and I don't think they have much, but I do think that because Jonathan Taylor's coming back, teams are going to have more of an emphasis on stopping the run, which will free up more deep routes for Pittman and stuff. And honestly, like if as long as he gets like a similar passing role than he had last year, he will 100%. He's going to get same targets and he's going to have more production. So I could see him honestly finishing as a mid to high end wide receiver too next year.
especially, yeah, I guess I could see he's not going like ridiculous, like a 7.
Yeah, I mean, wherever he's drafted in the seventh, eighth round, that's a steal in my opinion.
Right.
If he's a clear wide receiver one on a not so good team, but still, it's wide receiver one. You gotta take it.
Up next, we have Josh Jacobs. This guy led the league in rushing yards, and he's going in the late 2nd round. I think that's a little ridiculous, especially since I think with Jimmy G, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot less. I think Derek Carr was a better quarterback than Jimmy. Made no sense why they went after him. I think they're going to realize really quickly that they're probably going to want to lean on that run game. They're going to want to lean in on Jacobs again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with you here, and I think Josh Jacobs is. I mean, if we're gonna get the same Josh Jacobs that we got last year, which I assume we will, I don't really see any reason why we wouldn't. He's gonna be a easily RB1, like mid to high end RB1, and honestly, this may be a hot take, but I'm taking Josh Jacobs over guys like Cooper Cup,
Wow, that is a hot take.
Stephon Diggs, taking him over Stephon Diggs.
We did talk about in the last video how you not think so.
Yeah. It just I feel like he has a very high floor. I feel like honestly because he's going to get the production he needs. There's no kind of competition for him in the running game.
I don't even know who the Raiders have.
This is a Raiders offense that has that's going to be moving this year. They got Devontae Adams.
That's about
Yeah,
it.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I think Josh Jacobs. I think new quarterback in the system. They're not going to be passing the ball, every play. So Josh Jacobs is going to get his share, and I feel it. And he's a very good running back. So I feel like he's going to finish as probably an RB5 this year. I would say.
Up next, this one's from me, Kadarius Toney. Now, there's a lot of things I like about him. One, he's going to now have a full year under the Chiefs' offensive scheme. He's going to learn it. And we definitely saw some improvement. Like, he was a big role player in that playoffs. He obviously caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And besides Kelsey, who obviously is the clear option, I mean, who is the wide receiver? I think he's going to step into that role, probably go over for 1,000 yards. And if you could get him in, like, the 8th to 9th, I think that's an absolute for the upside you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. You say he's like the wide receiver one, but then we got guys like Juju, and of course Kelsey, like you mentioned. Kelsey is easily the wide receiver, the number one target Mahomes will throw the ball to. It's just been that way, And honestly, I feel like I'm just not really gonna want to take Kadarius Toney unless I get him in like late rounds, maybe keep him like on my bench just in case. But I'm not taking him any time in the early to mid rounds. I just feel like it's just, and yes, this is a very dominant offense. Chiefs have
They were the best offense in the league.
Yeah, they were known to be super dominant, but it's just the ball gets passed around too much. I can't really trust. I've trusted guys like I've trusted Kadarius Toney. I had him on my team last year, and also I had guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Trusted guys like those. It's just
so what's your
have a
feeling
really
on?
tough time.
So off topic, but it kind of. What's your feelings on Pacheco this season in terms of fantasy?
I don't hate the pickup. I would take him, as a flex option.
Yeah,
I can get him as my flex.
Got that RB1 upside, but obviously they still have Jared McKinnon, who's that receiving back on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice Mahomes. I saw a crazy stat line. Mahomes last season did not have a single touchdown that went over. So they throw the ball a lot in the red zone. So you're obviously going to get those stolen from you.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, and you gotta think this is Travis Kelsey's offense. I'm not trusting really any Chiefs player taking them mid to early if they're not Mahomes or Kelsey. And Tyreek Hill was different. Now Tyreek Hill's gone though. I can't trust the receiver in the
Now
Chiefs.
Tyreek Hill still, all those guys could easily be going in the first. Chelsea. Depends on what kind of league.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Mahomes, I don't.
Depends on the league. Some people will definitely reach.
Yeah, I mean, I do like taking a quarterback early though. A little bit
I'm
off topic, but if you're going into your fantasy drafts, you're gonna need to take either Mahomes, Hurts.
I'm more of a Lamar and Fields guy. Honestly, get those in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah,
I'm
I
big.
like that.
I'm big on those guys
But
because as far as the little downside, like Fields has not proven he's a phenomenal thrower, but the rushing yards are just so valuable, and those touchdowns are so much more valuable than the pass touchdowns. That running quarterbacks like Fields was what QB like 6 last season, and like
yeah,
the offense, he got a real wide receiver 1 now. So there's a
but
lot.
I mean, they proved last year that having like a good quarterback is a huge positional advantage. You want one of these guys who's going to put up 20 more points than
And all the
got guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to be a starter.
in all the leagues
Derek
that I
Carr.
did like good in, I had a at least top 10 quarterback. One of the really surprising ones was I was in a 32-man league. I picked up Jared Goff, and he finished in the top 10 among quarterbacks, and I ended up winning
Yeah,
that league. So yeah,
my fantasy championship that I won, Jalen Hurts was 100% my MVP.
yeah,
He really helped me out that year. It's huge steal.
yeah. With this, yeah, Jalen Hurts is, oh my goodness. If we were doing this last year, Jalen Hurts would have definitely been one of those steals that we would have been talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's get back on topic. So next up, we have
yeah. We're moving on to the guys we don't like. It's gonna be a shorter episode than the last one. That Bucks receiving duo, I put them both together. Yeah,
Mhm.
we are both staying away from those two. I feel like honestly, because they had Brady and Brady led the league in passing yards last season, they had the production, but I just don't feel like they're the same player that they were when like Jameis was there and they were both went for over 1,000 yards. I feel like we'll see the first season in Mike Evans' career where he won't have 1,000 yards because obviously, if you've seen any clips of that Buccaneers training camp, it's looking really bad for the quarterback position, which obviously is going to hurt their production. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we're talking about Baker Mayfield here. He has not shown much in his few years that he's been in the league. And yeah, honestly, it's just I can't trust this offense. They have just so many weapons. I feel like they're gonna be trying stuff new. They have a bad offensive coordinator. It's not looking good for this team this year.
bad head coach. Yeah,
Bad
it,
head coach, yeah.
it's really
So I mean, honestly, they've given me no reason to trust these receivers, and Chris Godwin, Mike Evans.
they
I'm
are on
not
the
saying they're
they are on the decline. Like there's just not
Yeah,
gonna
they are. I do like. I would definitely trust Chris Godwin a little bit more over Mike Evans. Mike Evans, I'm totally staying away for. I don't care unless he's like round 12. Up with guys like Zach Moss, and then I'll consider
yeah.
it. But like,
Considering Zach Moss or Mike, you're in that situation.
yeah.
Yeah,
But Chris Godwin might have a little upside, maybe like low end flex. But I mean, I'm just still not trusting these guys. It's just I need to see how this offense is going to run.
I
I feel
think
like they're going to be using the run game a ton with their rookie.
I'm gonna mention something. Mike Evans finished in that round around that mid tier range of the 12 to 16 range. But the biggest reason behind that was because at the end of the year, he had almost a 50-point game against the Panthers when they didn't have Jason playing. So that completely inflated his stats. And combine that with the fact that he is a red zone target, and I just don't see this Bucks offense scoring that much, like in the red zone position. They might win.
Yeah, I mean Mike Evans wasn't good last year. I remember hearing like a ton of people complain about how they had Mike Evans on their bench when they scored 60 points. Like you were not considering starting Mike Evans. You were not. Don't even lie to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
All right, up next we got Tyler Lockett. I mean, you add Jackson Smith in the first round. You are planning on using Jackson Smith in
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on this one as well. Tyler Lockett, I'm gonna totally stay away from him this year. It's just DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, like you said, and also, we're
I'm
gonna
blanking
have
his name. Kenneth Walker, that too.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
And it's just too many hands to, or too many guys to throw the ball around, and it's not like this offense. I feel like this offense is definitely going to take a step up because of guys like Njigba. They're going to have a lot of weapons, but it's just Tyler Lockett right now is what, wide receiver 3 with a solid running back on that team. He's not going to get the near as many targets as he's been the
I
past few
feel like
years.
Tyler
So
Lockett's going to go like a decline throughout the season in terms of fantasy production. I feel like at the start of the year, they're going to have him as wide receiver 2, but as Jackson Smith develops, they're going to start utilizing him. I was very high on Jackson Smith. I said that he was like the only receiver that realistically should have went in the first draft. Like he was beyond the best receiver in that draft. The
yeah, I
fact
mean they drafted him early as well.
the fact that he fell to 9, especially since a bunch of wide receivers passed up on him. I think Patriots, the Jets could have used him. Titans could have used him. Crazy how the draft goes sometimes, though. Even the Lions could have used him. Instead, they took Jameer Gibbs, who we.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna back on Jackson Smith. I'm also not the biggest fan of him. It's really crowded in that receiver. I just don't see. I don't see top 10 potential in any of these in terms of fantasy. I think they're all great players, but in terms of like fantasy, they're just not getting that volume that you would hope to see. Plus, I don't think Gino's gonna have nearly as good as a year as he did last year. I think he's still gonna be good, but not gonna have his insanity run. Good.
I feel like he's going to regress this year for sure. I do see if I were to trust any of these guys, honestly, besides Walker, I think Walker is going to finish as a mid-tier RB2. But I would honestly trust DK Metcalf over any of these other receivers in that league. He's a big guy. They love throwing the ball up to him. I feel like he's definitely going to get those 1 to 2 huge plays each game. So I would trust DK Metcalf. I'm staying away from Tyler Lockett this year for sure.
Absolutely. All right, up next, this is my like major hot take: Amon-Ra St. Brown, and
Oh,
and I want to clear this. He's going in the late second round, and it baffles me that anyone would consider drafting him over Waddle or Garrett Wilson or Josh Jacobs. Going around those people,
I went
it could
Josh Jacobs,
it could
Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson.
it could obviously change, but like as far as it stands now, I just like you think about it. Waddle, like Garrett Wilson's getting a QB upgrade. If Tua plays more games, Waddle's gonna have better production. He had 1,300 yards last year, and Josh Jacobs was like the RB1 in non PPR and like a top 5 RB. So I just wouldn't see the value in taking a Monra, especially in a run heavy offense like Detroit. Now, obviously, he will be wide receiver 1, doesn't really have much competition, but I don't know. Maybe as like a 4th round pick, but as early as he's going, no, I'm staying away from. I would rather take any of those other guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this Lions offense, I feel like we're gonna see a similar production that we did last year. But I mean, you gotta look at Monroe, what he did last year, and he consistently had a ton of targets. I remember every time facing him in my league, I would watch that game and I'd be like, it'd just be ridiculous how many times they love passing the ball to him. Uh, he's clear wide receiver 1 on their team, and they have no other really, and he's a good receiver as well. He's young, he's still
I
progressing, and I
like
feel like
Amon-Ra. I think he is a good top 20. Sounds bad, but there's a lot of good receivers. I like his talent. It's just I don't know. I think he's not going to get that sheer volume. I also don't think the Lions offense will be scoring as much as they did because they improved the defense, so I don't think they'll like have to score as much. Won't need to score 35 points a game to win a game. They only need to score like 25 this. That
so
that
would you say Amon Ra is a low end wide receiver 1?
um I would say high end wide receiver. I would say I would rather have other guys. Like I don't really know how I'm gonna play out my draft. Yeah, it depends on what pick I get, but I'm probably gonna if I go receiver first, then Amon-Ra's like on the table. But if I go running back first, then I think I'm staying away from. I want someone better, someone who's gonna I know is gonna get more production, and I see no reason why Garrett Wilson and Jalen Waddle can't get better production because they're going to be in better situations, assuming Tua stays healthier than last season. We'll say he plays 13 games instead of the 11 he played. I think that's like an extra, maybe 200 yards to Waddle and 2 extra touchdowns. Already to his incredible
This
season.
is where I'm gonna disagree with you. Honestly, I feel like Monroe is gonna have a better year than Waddle. Not Garrett Wilson. I feel like Garrett Wilson's gonna have a better year, but
Garrett Wilson has ceiling to be the best receiver in fantasy. That's like actually that's like he is like he's not my offensive player of the year pick. We might do that. We might do our predictions for awards, but he is my dark horse. Like I could see him being the best receiver. He is that good.
yeah. But I do see him having a better year than Waddle, though.
All right,
We can move on.
all right. Final person. This one you are very adamant about. You've been telling me about how overrated this pick is. Bijan Robinson, the Falcons' first round pick. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand on my throne, and say this. I've been saying this since this dude has been drafted and since I've heard his ADP, and I just feel like it is crazy, absolutely insane. I'm seeing like people are like, we're taking Bijan over Nick Chubb, we're taking Bijan over Stephon Diggs, over CeeDee Lamb, over
I would honestly
Josh.
take him over all those guys, maybe except for Nick Chubb. But honestly,
Like,
Nick Chubb, we all know Nick Chubb always gets underrated in fantasy. He always goes.
are you kidding me right now? This is ridiculous.
Listen, okay, but here's a counter argument. Running backs peak early. We know this. They fall off quickly and they peak early. You think of guys. CMC had his best year in his second year. Saquon's best year was his first year. Zeke's best year was his first year. We saw Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker have top 10 fantasy seasons if Brees Hall didn't get hurt. The running back seasons. We see all these guys, these running backs peak early. I get if it's like a quarterback, but running backs, they're prime. The moment they get into the league, they've hit their prime already because that second contract comes around, and very rarely, like we're talking, you need to be a special running back. We're talking a Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb level running back to keep putting up great production on that.
I mean, you're talking about guys like Kenneth Walker, peaking early, but like I'm still taking Nick Chubb over guys like Kenneth Walker in his rookie
Nick
year.
Chubb always gets overrated. I mean, underrated in fantasy. We know this though. He always goes in the second round, and it makes no sense.
I'm just saying, I'm not taking a rookie running. I don't care if you're the best prospect ever. I'm not taking a guy who is new to this offense, who has never played a single snap in the NFL yet, over guys like Nick Chubb, who have proven year in and year out to put up consistently high fantasy numbers, and guys like Josh Jacob, who came off a career year, who put up ridiculous numbers. I'm not taking a rookie over these guys. I see your point with Bijan being a power horse running back on the Atlanta Falcons, which is not going to have a good offense next year.
But they're going to be very run heavy next year. They made that clear. I mean, you think about it. Algier came into the offense, rushed for 1,000 yards. I think Bijan is miles better than Algier, and he's a receiving threat too. Back at Texas, he was getting lined up in the slot to like catch passes. Like he's a good route runner. So I think we will see a Falcons offense where they do utilize him in the pass game. He does finish as like a top 7 running back, maybe top 5.
Well, I mean, crazy. It's just I can't follow you guys like you, and I see everyone else putting him high up. It's just I can't trust the man. And it's just you know what it's reminding me of?
What?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm getting flashbacks. Everyone talked about, oh, this guy, we're drafting him early first round.
But who he more reminds me of? Najee Harris's rookie season. Where did Najee was a top 10 running drafted in the.
I mean, it's.
You think about it. He's getting put like for a running back. This is like the dream system. He's getting put behind a very good offensive line with one of the best guards in the league in Chris Lindstrom. They don't have a good quarterback. Desmond Ridder is not about to go light up the league. So they're going to be relying on him a lot on the ground. I mean, this is not crazy to say he's going to be a 2,000-yard player, like, in terms of rushing and receiving. Like, what's stopping him from going for 1,500 yards rushing and 500 yards receiving? And then capping that off with double-digit touchdowns. Like, I think we could see an Austin Ekeler type guy. I really see it.
Oh. No.
You don't see Austin Ekeler in him? You don't wait on running backs to develop. They are going to peak because out of all positions to NFL, besides maybe kicker, running back's the easy. Like most running backs, the moment they step into the league, they're gonna either be good or bad. You rarely ever see running backs take time to develop. Like name me a running back that was bad for multiple years and then finally broke. Like there aren't many, but in other positions, receiver,
Um,
quarterback.
let's see. I'm not really thinking of many right now, but still, I mean, you're bringing up that point that they're gonna peak early. We don't know this guy's gonna peak early. We don't. College is a completely different game than NFL. It's
Yes,
so different.
if there's a position that translates, that's my
What offense was Bijan on last year?
this. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention as well. I forgot to mention as well. The coach for the Falcons was the offensive coordinator for the Titans at one point. He knows how to orchestrate a very good run first offense. Think about it. He was the coach for the Titans when they went on that playoff run, when they went to the AFC Championship. When Derrick Henry was absolutely lighting up the league, rushing for 200 yards consistently. And then you think he goes another year. Derrick Henry has a 2,000-yard rushing season. Knows how to work with these and develop them.
Yeah, I mean, if it were me, honestly, I would take Bijan Robinson, as a mid-end wide receiver or mid-end RB2.
I'm on the Bijan hype train. I really like it.
Mid-end RB2, and that's kind of where I'm at. I just don't feel like he's gonna have a good year.
Right. Well, that wraps up the list. We also managed to almost make this as long as the last episode just from Bijan.
It, it's going to be one of those things that we're just going to have to see.
We're gonna have
We're
to
on
see.
two completely different sides, and it's just we're gonna have to see. It's gonna be fun to watch though.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll be probably doing predictions really soon, like award predictions, season predictions, playoff predictions, all that. So yeah, it's gonna be
Coming
fun.
up,
What'd you say?
coming up fast.
Yeah. Yeah, we're fantasy football season's a month away. Like this is when you start drafting. You start looking into the players. Like this is like when you see all those videos about fantasy advice. But yeah, stay tuned if you want more. Make sure to like, subscribe, and notification bell. See you in the next one.